Innova, especially the women. They have no idea what engine is under the car. They just know that it's an Innova. But yes, Toyota did sell the 2-liter Innova. The new Innova does not have the gasoline anymore because most likely due to the most common complaint that it is malakas sa gas. But back in the day, some people, with the advent of the IMV, which is Toyota's common platform for the Hilux, Fortuner, and Innova, they introduced the gas variant because there's still a certain segment of the buying public that will never buy diesel. We don't blame them because previously, before these cars, the only diesels that were available were the very expensive, back then, very expensive Patrol, Pajero, Trooper, and then every other diesel that you know, either the L300 or a delivery truck na mauso, pabagal, papupa rin, etc., etc., etc. So there's a stigma against diesels back then. That's why they introduced a gas variant for all three cars, the Innova, Hilux, and Fortuner. And yes, people still buy them. You remap a car because number one, you want more power, you want more torque, you want more response. The added fuel savings is just a nice bonus that you get because the reason why it actually saves fuel when you have more power is that you don't have to step on the gas pedal as much. So doing before, let's say, step on the pedal this much, you get this much power. Now you only step on the pedal this much, you get the same power. That's where the fuel economy savings comes from. You don't step on the gas pedal as much as you used to. Because humans, unconsciously, what they do is, once they step on the gas, they get the speed that you want. You unconsciously, without thinking, you let go of the gas. And then you mutter to yourself, "Uy, matulid." Unconsciously, you do that. So less pedal means less consumption. That's the whole reason why you keep hearing people when they say if you do ECU remap, you get more power, more torque, and at the same time better mileage. The better mileage comes from because it changes the way that you drive. Internally, there's nothing changes. If you want more power, then you step on it, then you get power. That power has to come from somewhere, and it's still the fuel. But what it does is it changes your driving habit on 90% of the time that you drive, which is basically here in traffic. So you step on the gas slightly, the car is fast, you let go. And what we're going to be doing with this is we're going to do a direct ECU remap. We're going to plug the laptop into the car, read the ECU data, not ECU data, but just the ECU ID. Then we will have to buy a file because it's a Toyota. So Toyota's, you cannot read the ECU, can only write. So how can you edit something that you don't have? You have to buy the original file somewhere. So that's part of the expenses of doing remap. Okay, this is what we need to be able to remap Toyotas. This one here, this thing called calibration file. So it's 89663-0K410. So that's what's important. So this file is the original file of the ECU. Think of it as like your phone's OS. So you cannot modify your Android or your iOS if you don't have a copy of your iOS to begin with. So that's what this calibration file is for. So that's basically the entire software copy of the ECU. We apparently already have it, so we bought it before, so we don't need to buy it again. And this is how we edit it. So just like any other software or program or app, Microsoft Word documents can only be opened by Microsoft Word. Excel documents can only be opened by Excel, so on and so forth. So you need a dedicated software package to be able to open the ECU file. It's in binary format, so this is what we use. It's called BitEdit, and it's called remapping because all of these folders here, these little things under there, these are called maps. This is what a map looks like. So this is a spark timing map. So this is load, meaning how much you press on the pedal. This is RPM, so it's up to, well, it's only up to 55 RPM. So then the numbers here is spark advance in terms of degrees. It's not as easy as just buying the software and then tada, you can remap your own car. No, it's not like that. Just like with any app or software, you will need practice. Say I give you Photoshop and tell you to change my face to somebody else's face. It's not just because you have the software now that you can do it automatically. No, you have to practice, you have to learn the techniques, you have to know what the tools do, you have to know what the description of each tool does. It's the same thing here. So each map is pretty much what this is. It looks like an Excel sheet with rows and columns. Well, once again, it's a bunch of numbers. These numbers normally have no units. So it's just there. Put their value equals 1966. It's not 1966 years, it's not 1966 RPM, it's just a value. And most of the maps are like that. So if you don't know what you're adjusting, chances are you're gonna mess up the car. And even the description of the maps here, mass airflow pulsation factor, that's sink in. So once again, if you have no idea what that means, most likely you don't know what this map does. Well, we do. So that's exactly what you're paying for. Just like you're a doctor or some guy who specializes in something, you're not paying for the actual labor itself, but what you're paying is what's in here. And what's in here took years to learn. So, because some people see what me doing it and then they go like, oh, bilis lang pala, so that's all you do? So why are you charging so and so? Okay, okay. Even that out. Here's the laptop, you do it. Paying for the knowledge to know what to change, how much to change, where to change, how much is enough power. So I'm gonna proceed to edit this now, and then once I have the edited file, I will load it to the car and then dyno again, see how much power we make. This is our Innova gasoline remap, and if you've been spoiled watching my videos on 40, 50, 60 horsepower gains, this is definitely not the case. Only turbo diesels and turbocharged cars gain that much power. For a 2-liter gasoline car, this is what we have. The red line here is our baseline power, which is around 82 horses here. This red line here, maximum of 82 horses. Then after remapping, this is this green line, so we're at 101, so a little under 20 horses. That's actually pretty good for a 2-liter. Normal 2-liter cars we see gain anywhere from 12 to about 18 horses. This is 19 horses, this is a little bit above average. Other 2-liter cars, meaning Lancer, Civic, Old Accord. Torque, there's not much torque to be had because it is a gasoline car, it's not a diesel. So anyway, what we have here is basically 20 horses here, around 10 horses here at the bottom, not much in the middle because it is a gasoline, so another 10 horses here, 20, 10, yeah, about 15 Newton meters torque total. We also got rid of the throttle delay, which is another point here which everybody keeps complaining about. So we also tweaked the air-fuel ratio. So this is what we have is for our air-fuel ratio. We still try to maintain here. It's a bit lean here at the start, so that's why there's no power. So we added just a little bit of fuel to make it close to stoichiometric, which is this line here, 14.7. And it's 14.7 all the way up to around 5,000 RPM. Then we make it rich if you really want power and you're really going along the expressway, but most people don't reach this part anyway. So yes, we can remap the Toyota, the same process for the Fortuner 2.7. Actually, the same process for pretty much any Toyota that you see. It's basically getting the ECU file, editing it, and then writing it back. And of course, all of this has to be done on the dyno, so we'll know how much power it makes and what adjustments to make. So it's not that fast or it's not that easy as everybody thinks also. And the best part, which is why he's here, once again, fuel economy will be better, meaning titipid siya. Normally we're around 8 to 10%. By the way, this is anecdotal, meaning that there is no test in the world that can accurately measure fuel economy, because for the simple reason is that the variables that affect fuel economy are different every day when you wake up. The weather might be different, you might be groggy, you might be lasing, the traffic might be different, the road that you're traveling might be ginagawa. So there's too many variables to have a one standard measurement. Okay, this car makes X amount kilometers per liter. No, there is no such test in the entire universe. So where do I get the 8 to 10%? Well, it's from personal experience, our own personal cars in the shop. And from the numerous cars that we've done, I always try to ask the customer, can you measure your fuel economy? And by measuring, I do not mean na yung isang full tank ko maabot ng isang linggo. No, that's wrong and that's stupid. You do it on a kilometer per liter basis. And if you have one of the newer cars with the fuel economy reading, do not use that because that is the average of the entire car since you bought it. Some newer cars like Hyundai's, I know you can reset it on that per trip. The newer Toyotas can too, but some of the older ones like the Hondas, you can't. So the best way to do it is still full tank, zero it, have it automatic stop, make note of how many liters your car actually gets on fuel, then your total kilometers divided by the number of liters once the light hits orange. Okay? That's how you do fuel economy computation. Not by the hours, not by the minutes, not through the gauge, no. Actual liters in, actual kilometers driven.